Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to Raptors Flex Plus, where you know the flex already, fam. Welcome back to another episode. This is episode 56. I am your host, Kyle, and I keep moving around my mic, man. I'm trying to figure out how I can get like the best quality possible, man. So bear with me as I continue to try things out. But yo, I'm back on my regular schedule, man, trying to get things popping as we close out the regular season for the Raptors. And right now, fam, it's bad, guy. It's bad. I've been saying it's bad, dog. 8 straight losses, me? Jeez, I'm peas, bro. Broskis. Ladies, gentlemen. Mm-mm-mm. It's a bad look, bro. It's a bad look. Now, I understand we develop it and all that stuff. And when you look at who was out there last night against the Kings, my God. My God. So Emmanuel quickly out of the lineup, out for personal reasons. RJ Barrett, obviously, out for personal reasons. We've talked about injuries at length. But like, bruh, you got Grady Dick starting, Achai Abaji, Kelly Olynyk, Gary Trent Jr., and Bruce Brown. That's your starting lineup, you know? And then off the bench, Javon Freeman Liberty, Jemias Ramsey, Jordan Noir, Jonte Porter, who also went out with the injury last night, Jalen McDaniels, and Mahamadou Gay. And Garrett Temple just hasn't played like all season. I'm not even sure like what the deal is. But does it even matter at this point? Does it even matter? Like obviously you want to play the younger players, give them an opportunity to, show what they can do here in the NBA for the Raptors. Maybe you earn a roster spot for next season and all that. But guy, this roster that we are putting out there on the court, they're not winning any games, yo. So like man, at one point I was saying the Raptors weren't tanking and everything, right? And I still believe in my heart that we weren't intentionally trying to tank. But like as injuries pile up, life happens, some of our players, and this is what we're left with after all the trades and all that. Like this is not an impressive starting lineup by any stretch, yo. You asking Bruce Brown to be a creator. You know what I mean? This is where we at. This is where we are at. You know what I mean? Like, with all due respect to Bruce Brown, like you're asking him to be a creator. Kelly Olynyk, you're asking him to be like a primary creator. Now I know that like Darko's offense and everything wants to run some stuff through the bigs, but fam, like we have no playmakers out there on the floor. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Whatever else you want to say. We have no playmakers out there on the floor. And, I don't even know what the final score was in this game, really and truly. I was watching the game in like the first quarter and everything. But like I'm holding up my reservations because I've seen the Raptors play even a good half of basketball. And then all of a sudden, third quarter, fourth quarter, the next team just turns on the Jets. Like almost what it feels like right now is teams aren't even really like trying like that against us. They're like taking a half off, taking a quarter off, like on the defensive end. And then as the game continues to progress and the other team is making their adjustments and they're tightening the screws defensively and things, bruh, the Raptors are just out of sorts. Out of sorts. But yo, man, still like big up the man them for even just like going out there and continuing to at least play with some effort. Regardless of whether it's translating in turnovers or not, they're playing with some effort, man. But literally no playmakers, no Scotty, no IQ, no Barrett. You know, it's rough. It's hard times, man. And if this is what we asked for, because everyone's been saying like, yo, the Raptors need to tank. The Raptors are going to tank. If you fall under that category, that's cool now, right? I respect everybody's point of view in terms of what they believe the Raptors should be and should not be doing. But like if you're complaining that the Raptors are losing games and you're in like the tank, like you've been calling for a tank all season long, don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you because this is what happens when you're tanking. You lose, and you lose big, and you lose bad. That's literally what's going on with the Raptors, guy. You know? I don't like it, man. I don't like losing, bro. I don't like losing, man. And the thing that makes this even more difficult is what we've been talking about from the beginning of the season almost, man. The Jakob Poeltl situation, because we traded away to pick the San Antonio and his top six protected. Like, this is becoming a real talking point in every single Raptors conversation. Like, it's probably like the lead conversation, because you want to turn things around faster than not. You know what I mean? You don't want this rebuild to just last like 2 3 seasons and you're still like at the bottom trying to get a top draft pick and land a guy that's going to change the future of your franchise. you know and I seen this thing online, man, because Jakob Pearl, I believe, is getting a lot of unnecessary hate towards him, yo. And maybe it's not towards him specifically. It might just be towards the Raptors front office. And because it is Jakob Pertl, like, you're gonna catch some strays and all. But like, I don't know where I saw. I think I saw it on Twitter or something. Someone said something along the lines of the Raptors decided to tank this year instead of last year, when Victor Wembanyama and stuff was in the draft, right? Because like, the consensus is that there was more star players in last year's draft than there is in this year's upcoming draft. And maybe there's a point to be had there. Maybe there's a point to be had there. But like, I feel like that's a half lazy take, yo. Because coming into last season, you feel me? The idea was that the Raptors could possibly take a next jump now, because you're just coming out of the playoffs from the season prior, right? Just coming out of the playoffs from the season prior, and you were like, what, the fifth seed when we lost to Philadelphia? We were the fifth seed, and Scotty Barnes got injured in that series and everything, and we're pretty much returning the same team plus some others, and I don't think that's fair to say that the Raptors should have tanked last year. Now, maybe the vein of the conversation is from the standpoint of things weren't going that well to start the year, you know? And there was this whole conversation around, should the Raptors have like a fire sale at the trade deadline. And maybe that was it. But let's be real, okay? If for whatever reason the Raptors were going to tank around that time or whatever, you're not getting Victor Wembanyama in the draft. You're not, like, the chances of you landing the first overall, like, after San Antonio's been sucking it up all year last year, or the year before, sorry, leading into the Victor draft, and you know, maybe you might have got into the lottery, but like, the chances of you moving up from like 10th to like first in the draft, come on, man, come on, man. And like, when you look at like the other picks, when you look at what's my man from Portland guy? Gosh, I forget his name now, yo. But anyways, Brandon Miller from Charlotte. Yo, it's bothering me. What the hell is his name, yo? Portland Trailblazers. Man, from the G League Trailblazers roster. I don't know why this man's name is skipping my brain right now. I don't know why. Probably because he's not even out there right now. Scoot. Scoot Henderson. So you tell me the Raptors are gonna tank, trade all your assets away for a Scoot Henderson? Maybe Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller shows me that he can play ball, you know. But like the two Thompson twins, I mean, they look like NBA players, but they don't look like star players. You know what I mean? Like, when we're talking about rookie of the year stuff right now, we're talking about Chet, who was drafted the year before Victor Wembanyama and Victor Wembanyama. So like, let's not do that, yo. Let's not do that, because it's so hard to find a big like, as well, finding a competent big for your ball team. Like, yo, we went through, like, since Mark Gasol left, we went through like 2 or 3 seasons where we were trying this 6'8" and over thing and couldn't find a center. Like, where we're just trying to like, we like centers, yo, man. It's hard to find a good center. The problem with Jakob Pertl is What I would like to see from him to really like, solidify the fact that Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster took a chance on him for a first overall pick. Not first overall pick, but a first round pick. You gotta show some range next year, bruh. You gotta show some range. Like in the summertime, you should be like working on your shot, man. Like that should be like your main thing, aside from coming back healthy from the hand injury. Work on your shot. Like we've seen it in Toronto. Like look at Jonas Valanciunas, man. You know what I mean? When he was drafted, I think it was fifth or sixth overall or something. He wasn't a shooter. He didn't have no range. The man pushed himself out now to the 3 point line where you leave him open, you're comfortable with him taking that shot and making that shot. Even now, even before he went to the Pelicans, when he was still on the Raptors, he was starting to extend his range a little bit. And it was a little bit of a joke around them times, like, yo, JV's taking the three. But by the end of his tenure here in Toronto, we felt okay with him taking a three because they were leaving him wide open. Wide open. So I know that if Poeltl extends his range next year, please extend your range. Like for at least the first half of the season until you show that you can make those shots, they're going to leave you open. You just got to take and make them at a decent clip. A decent clip. Wide open shots are basically like practice, right? Like you're at the practice in the gym. So like I don't know what's gonna happen in this year's draft. Like right now we have the seventh best odds with overall because Memphis won last night, right? And I've shared this before already, the whole call it, the odds. And this will probably continue to keep changing over the course until the end of the season because these two teams are so close together when it comes to the tank stuff. And yeah, man, like right now, again, Toronto, seventh overall. And that's one game in the loss column behind Memphis because Memphis lost last night. Right. So all teams are gonna play 82 games, and it depends on where things fall. But the Raptors have lost 8 straight games. 8. And when you look at these teams in like the top 9 right now or whatever, like from Utah up to Washington, like look at the all of these teams have a losing streak except for the Spurs who have lost one in a row. They're 4-6 in their last 10. But like really and truly, lost, 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 lost. That's all we're doing, guy. 8 straight now. 1-9 in your last 10. This is horrible. You could make an argument right now that Toronto is fielding the worst team in the NBA right now. Like just in terms of the players on the court. And that's not a shot at the players on the court. Like these are all young guys, you know? And Darko Riakovic said it right in his press conference at the loss last night, right? He's like, you're asking guys to play outside of their role. Clearly, clearly asking guys to play outside of their role. So, and you're asking young players to build good habits and things of that nature. And I don't know, it's hard to see when you're getting drilled like that on the court, you know? And this was one of the problems that I had with the whole idea of tanking because you don't want the players to start thinking about tanking now because you always want to think about having a winning mentality. A winning mentality. And maybe this is just where we're at and there's nothing that we can do about it because injuries and trades have totally decimated this team, you know? But like it's tough. It's tough, man. As a Raptors fan, it's tough. Like it's hard for me to even watch the games to keep it a bean with y'all, yo. A bean, dog. But anyways, and there's been a lot of conversation recently, and I wanted to touch on this, man. I wanted to touch on this. There's been a lot of conversation recently about the 90s basketball versus the 2000s basketball. Who's the greatest of all time between Michael Jordan and LeBron James? And, there's a lot of foul stuff that's being discussed out here in the NBA world between the fans and media people alike, yo. So check it, man. If you're not like aware, there's like this campaign right now where mans are trying to say that they're done with the 90s. You know what I'm saying? And they're using that to like prop up LeBron James, yo. And here's what I'm gonna say on that, man. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop. And I know, like, for me, listen, man, I'm not like no spring chicken, dog. But like, I feel like I'm a very fair and objective person, you know. And here's the thing: some of the mans that are like calling for like the '90s to be like the '90s is a better brand of basketball, a better decade of basketball than any time within the 2000s and all that. To be honest with you, I'm with you. I'm with you in some aspects. But here's the thing, yo. How you expect these young boys, and I'm talking about like fans and stuff out here that are on TikTok making videos and those types of things about we're done with the 90s and all that, yo. How you expect these young boys to like, yo, from time when LeBron James came into the league, okay? When LeBron James came into the league and he was having his failures in Cleveland, and there was all this conversation like, yo, this guy's like not it. You know what I'm saying? He'll never touch Jordan. You know what I'm saying? He'll never touch Jordan. So like, this new generation's guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that. But this is their guy. You know what I'm saying? And like at every which turn that you look at things, y'all just be coming for their guy, right? Whether we're saying Kobe Bryant's a better player, whether you're saying that, rest in peace to Kobe, whether we're saying like, LeBron James made soft moves when he went to Miami, whether we're saying that this guy always has to team up with people, whether we're saying like you just don't like his demeanor and his attitude, whether you're saying that he's not clutch, like whether you're saying he shies away from the moment and all these types of things, like at every which turn, you're coming for these young boys' guy. You know what I'm saying? You're coming for their guy. So what do you expect them to do? Not fire back, yo? You expect them to not fire back and come back for your guy? Now here's the thing, right? We've always like historically always respected the generation before. You know what I'm saying? And the generation before has always shown love for the newer generations for the most part, right? We understand how the dynamics of the NBA has worked historically, right? You have teams, you have like star players who are on teams who may have to overcome obstacles or overcome another team, or maybe you've had some epic battles with another team within that era where the winner came out on the other side on multiple occasions, those types of things, right? But like, y'all didn't give LeBron James a chance to like grow and like create his own story before you start just tearing him down, yo. Real talk, man. Real talk. And it's not that I'm making excuses for LeBron James and the young boys and their point of views on things, right? What I'm saying is at every which turn, you're tearing down LeBron, bro. Tearing down LeBron. Now, I understand why some of us as an older generation than like these new kids may have some problems with LeBron James for the fact that he came out of high school and he dubbed himself King James and all that. But like, keep it up, bean though, right? When have you ever seen a player come directly out of high school with the types of expectations that this kid had? Coming from the socioeconomic background that LeBron James came from, and turn into this a shrewd businessman, a mentally strong basketball player for the most part, right? Because even if you say LeBron James isn't clutch, okay, or not the most clutch player, one could argue that earlier on in his career, he was very clutch. He was very clutch. I think one of the problems is that when we look at LeBron, we don't look at LeBron as, one of those top tier guys like a Michael Jordan and stuff, because he was achieving a little bit more at an earlier age than a Michael Jordan. It's like he didn't go through the same rigors that that Michael Jordan went through. You know what I'm saying? In terms of having to get through the Celtics, having to get through the Pistons, and then having to overcome like the team of the 80s in the Lakers and stuff like that, right? Like there was a gradual elevation to Michael Jordan's ascension in the NBA. But with LeBron James, it's like he almost came in, boom, he's in the finals. You know what I'm saying? He's in the finals. He took out Detroit and all type of stuff, a team that just won a championship not that long ago, right? They won, I think it was 04, 05. LeBron James was in the '07 finals. So, like, the things that he was achieving came a little quick, you know? And, like, the expectation was almost like, yo, this guy's going to carry the flag, or he should be carrying the flag for the fact that he made it to a finals. But, yo, he'll never have it. He'll never have that flag as the GOAT. Like, from time, people are saying this because, yo, you already won down to Jordan. Jordan never lost in the finals. Never lost in the finals, right? So like I get the whole notion around, you know, uh just how great Michael Jordan was. You know what I'm saying? I totally get that. And the young boys need to respect it too. You know what I'm saying? I understand the fact that you're firing back because they're coming for your goat. And fair is fair, yo. Fair is fair. We can have the debate all day long, yo. You come for my goat, I come for your goat. You come for whatever, da 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 da. Right? Tit for tat. That's just how it goes in like all these debates. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, man, young boys, young boys, stop this, stop slandering Michael Jordan's name, dog. Stop it, stop it immediately. Cease and desist. Cease and desist. Stop, stop. Now, again, I understand they're coming for your goat. I understand they're coming for your goat, but like two wrongs don't make a right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Okay? You can't go and tear down another man that has nothing to do with anything because there's a generation that's not feeling the way that your goat is out here goating, doc. You know what I'm saying? They're not feeling how your goat is goating, doc. But like you can't tell me Michael Jordan didn't have it left, or Michael Jordan's shooting percentage from three was weak. Like, yo, we need to stop. We need to stop. Okay? We need to stop this. Michael Jordan literally made it possible for all these young kids, not even young kids, because they're like for anyone that like followed after him, he made it possible for like them to have something to look at. You know what I'm saying? Something to be like, yo, I want to be like that. Because when Michael Jordan came into the league, it was a big man's league for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Generally, Magic Johnson was 6'9". Larry Bird, I don't know, I think he was 6'8" or something like that. Pretty sure it was 6'8". But regardless, no one thought that a shooting guard that with athleticism could elevate a team to a dynasty. Now, what's more attainable for like the general public? You know what I'm saying? Being 6'6" guard or being a 7-footer? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, not a whole lot of 7-footers in the world with coordination and all these different types of skills. You know, so he literally made it possible for the fact that like your GOAT is out here and like Kobe Bryant and these guys uh, to be who they were. To be who they are. You can't like disrespect Michael Jordan, fam. You really can't. This was a guy that was cut from his varsity team. This was a guy that, you know, you would think the best player of all time would have been drafted number 1 overall. No, number 3. You know what I'm saying? Some might even debate he wasn't even the best player on his college team with like James Worthy and stuff, man. Like, we need to stop this. Michael Jordan worked his way to become what he became. He worked his way there and he changed the game forever. Forever. The same way that we kind of look at Steph Curry. And it's not that I'm saying Steph Curry is like the greatest player of all time. I'm talking about the same type of trajectory in terms of, not being not being not being big enough, not being strong enough. And when he came into the league, he had injury problems and he continued to develop the rest of his game outside of just being able to shoot the ball. And he became like an icon for a new generation where you look at him and be like, is it easier to be for like the regular person to be a 6'8", 250-pound forward with all these different skills like a LeBron James or like a 7-footer like Kevin Durant that can shoot the ball, shoot the lights out of the ball, or to be, what Steph Curry, 6'3", 6'4", guard, change the game, MVP status, all these types of things, first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, you have to respect the guys that have changed the game, man. Stop the disrespect from Michael Jordan. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, man. So, like, on both sides of the coin, old heads, stop coming for the new heads goat, man. Let the new heads go, goat. Young boys, stop coming for the old heads goat. Because the old heads goat been goating for a long time. Been goating for a long time. And you don't even really hear their goat talking the way that your goat is talking. Right? Now I understand that this is a new generation. Everybody has a podcast. Hell, I have a podcast. Look, I'm talking into a mic and a camera on my free time, But like, really and truly, I think one thing, like one piece of like advice I'll say, man, that is just, you know, gives kind of Michael Jordan a little leg up on LeBron James outside of like the whole basketball conversation about, who has more points, who averaged more points, who has more MVPs, who has a defensive player of the year and who doesn't, who has more all-star appearances, who's played longer. Like, guy, outside of all that, okay? Yo, LeBron James, like, I think the reason why he's not everybody's flavor for the most part, because I think people could have gotten behind LeBron James a little bit more if he didn't make his obsession to like be greater than Jordan just so boisterous and blatant without the results, from a championship standpoint. Without the results from a championship standpoint, you know? And it shouldn't always be a conversation about, you know, championships and all that. But like at every turn, it feels like LeBron James just, you know, he's just begging for respect, dog. Begging for respect. But like really and truly, if he wasn't doing those things, like, it's about time and doing these things with the king and all this type of stuff, I think people could have got behind him, man. I think people could have got behind him, like in general. And who am I, man? I think like me and LeBron James are around the same age, and what he's been able to accomplish has just been, man. Ain't no one can say anything negative about that. What he's been able to accomplish, you know. I mean, the only way that it comes in a negative light is when you're comparing it to Michael Jordan, right? And you start having those debates about who's greater. But like what LeBron James has done throughout his career, there's still greatness. There's still greatness. It's just you're just kind of talking too much, bro. Well, that's where Michael Jordan kind of like, there's this mystique behind Michael Jordan because he wasn't doing all that talking. All his talking was between the lines on the court. And then it built up anticipation for documentaries like The Last Dance and all that, you know? And the whole thing around, uh, mans were scared of Michael Jordan and mans ain't scared of LeBron James. Can we stop that too? Because really and truly, like you're making mans from the '90s sound soft when you say they were scared of Michael Jordan, dog. Nobody was scared of Michael Jordan. They respected Michael Jordan, respected him, but scared. Stop that. Nobody was scared in the '90s of Michael Jordan, dog. Nobody. So like, let's stop that whole conversation right now, yo. LeBron James, listen, man, one of the greatest of all time, man. One of the greatest of all time. And, you know, for me personally, like earlier on in LeBron James' career, I was like a LeBron fan. I was like a real LeBron fan who I was rooting for him to be greater than Michael Jordan, rooting for him. But at the same time, like, I kind of look past the whole not one, not two, not three, da 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 da, right? The whole teaming up thing, personally, I was like, you want to know what, man? Like, things change in business, man. And sometimes you got to be the change, you know? Because if you just keep things as is, status quo, then, you know, it's, you're not really like, I believe that like the greater good of society it stays stagnant when when you don't have people shaking up establishment, you know. And I feel like that's kind of like what LeBron James did by making that type of move with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Like even a young me had the foresight to understand, like, yo, this front office, like they're not doing it. His front office is not doing it. I'm gonna take power into my own hands, right? Same things that I say to my children. I'm like, guy, if you don't like something, change it. If you don't like something, change it. Be the change. And there's nothing wrong with that, yo. I feel like it shows courage to do things like that. Now, from a basketball standpoint, people might say it's weak or whatever, but for me, I looked at it a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? At a time where nobody was talking about state taxes and stuff with free agency, yo, my boys used to laugh at me. I'm like, guy, there's no state taxes in Florida. All that bread he's earning untaxed. That's insane, right? When you think about Canada now, like we're one of the higher tax rates in the NBA outside of teams in California and probably New York. Like Canada, New York teams, and Cali. You know what I mean? Get taxed the most. But when you look at like Texas and Florida and these states, no tax. That's lit, yo. That's a shrewd business move when no one's talking about it. But anyways, everybody literally talks about this now. But like my boys can tell you that they heard it from me first, dog. Now I forget where I heard it from, but I thought that it was like a ill thing when I first heard it, man. I was like, wow, that's dope. I want to move to Florida. Right? I want to move to Florida, yo. My favorite football team's the Dolphins, dog. If I moved to Florida, I would buy season tickets and I'd be at every Dolphins game, home game. But anyways, nevertheless, right? The thing where it went downhill for me is like literally when man didn't show up in the finals against Dallas, yo. You know, that like that first final with the Heat. Didn't show up, bro. Now, listen, whether the conversation was around at that point, it was still Dwayne Wade's team, and then the year after they won because everybody agreed it was LeBron James' team. I don't know whether that's true or not. Or there's this whole conversation around, well, Wade tried to take over in the finals because James was just trashing it up. I, hey, man, it is what it is. At the end of the day, no matter what the narrative is, man didn't really show up like that in the final, dog. Didn't really show up like that in the finals. So how am I supposed to compare you? Now, this is like years after, right? So you made the final in '07 or '08, I think it was, one of those two. And that was early in your career. Like I think a lot of people probably would agree. Like Cleveland had no business being in that final. Probably should have been Detroit or Indiana or one of these teams. You know, had no business being there, but he found himself in the finals, which I thought was an accomplishment, right? But years later now, what was it, 2011, where you go to the Heat, you came in the league in '04, so now you've been in the league for 7, 8 years now, and you have that type of performance in the finals. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's not it. That's not it, yo. And that's where it kind of went downhill for me. I still believe that LeBron James is one of the greatest of all time, but like I just it's hard for me to say from this a basketball standpoint that when you look at the totalities of careers that LeBron James has passed Michael Jordan. It's just not. You can't do that. You can't do that. Now that's not to take away any greatness from LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? But like in my lifetime, in my lifetime, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, Magic Johnson is in my lifetime, but I wasn't watching basketball like that. You know what I'm saying? I was young. We didn't get the games like that in Canada at the time, right? Like them times, it was like baseball because we had the Blue Jays. They were balling out, trying to figure out how to get to a championship, and did back to back. 92, yeah, 92, 93, yeah. And then Montreal was making a run in '94 before the strike, so we could have had a year where it was 3 straight championships for Canada in baseball. Didn't happen, but whatever. I'll take my back to back for the Blue Jays. NFL was on every Sunday and Monday night, so I was watching that. You know what I'm saying? Um, what else was popping up time? Obviously hockey. I wasn't like the biggest hockey fan, but like the Canadians won in '93, Montreal. Um, the Leafs were in like the Western Conference Finals against Wayne Gretzky and these guys the same year, I believe, because I think the Kings beat the Leafs and went and played Montreal in the final, I believe. I forget what it was. I believe Vancouver was also in a final. But like, guy, there was no NBA team. Is basically what I'm saying. No NBA team. So I can't sit here and say in my lifetime Magic Johnson was better than this guy and Larry Bird and Isaiah Thomas. Like literally for me, if I have to do like a top five starting with like the Jordan era, like 'cause I remember distinctively Michael Jordan played like truth be told, I even remember some of those playoff games from the '80s when like Jordan hit that shot against Cleveland, and what I mean, did like the double pump, yo. I remember that shot. I remember that shot. I think it was like in the evening time because I remember the sun was going down and I was sitting in my parents' bedroom and I believe it was like a Saturday and the sun was going down. And I remember sitting at the edge of their bed watching this game, and I was like, "Wow, wow, what a shot!" You know what I mean? I'm a youth back then, so like, guy, my experience with sports is just like, you know, I got a long history with sports, man. But like, Michael Jordan was the guy. Michael Jordan is still the guy because I've never seen anybody be able to surpass his greatness. His greatness. Now, I'm not. Listen, man. All right, let's do this. Now it's just gonna be out here. It's gonna be out here. Let's do this, okay? I got Michael Jordan, greatest of all time. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm starting this from like '88 to 2024. Okay. Michael Jordan, greatest player I've ever seen play. Okay. Number two. Oh shit. Number two. I'm gonna go with. See, this is where it gets dicey, dog. It could be anywhere between like Shaq, Kobe, Tim Duncan, LeBron, You know what I'm saying? Steph, yeah, like that's probably it. That's probably it. Now I gotta figure out how to like make that into like a real top five. But like, yeah, man. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. Michael Jordan, number one. Hmm. Kobe, number two. LeBron, number three. Tim Duncan, number four. Shaq, number five. That's my top five, baby. That is my top five. You know what I mean? That's my top five, yo. Just in terms of who I see play on the court. I can't go back to highlights. I didn't live through these other eras. You know, I didn't live through Kareem. You know, I wasn't here. Wasn't even a thought yet. I didn't live through Kareem. I didn't live through Wilt. I didn't live through Bill Russell. I don't know what the quality of basketball was at that point, but I think it's safe to say that the game evolved quite a bit from like the 50s to like the 80s. I'm comfortable saying that, yo. I'm comfortable saying that. Like it's just ridiculous to think of a man winning like 10 rings. I think Bill Russell got 10 rings or 11 rings. Come on, dog. Come on. That doesn't happen. It's not happening. Yeah, man. So yeah, that's what it is, yo. Just to go back on the conversation, yo, man. Old heads, respect the young heads, let their goat go. And young man, stop disrespecting Michael Jordan, dog. It's out of pocket. It's out of pocket. Stop it. All right. Now, to close off here, I did a bracket. NCAA bracket. Because it starts today. Now, obviously, there was like the whole other play into the tournament. Like I think that's kind of where the NBA got the idea and all that. But yo, bun all that, yo. Starts today. I'm gonna remove my logo, and here we at. All right. I did the ESPN bracket. Yo, man. UConn coming through in the East, but like really and truly, actually, shoot, I don't got UConn. U UConn coming through in the East to play Illinois, but Illinois is going to the Final Four. But really and truly, all my upsets for the most part were in the South bracket, right? Texas A&M over Nebraska, maybe that's an upset, maybe not because it's the 8-9. But like every year you see a 12-13 matchup, right? And like Wisconsin, they like historically they've kind of played like this grind out slow basketball, and I believe it gives teams a chance to stay in the game, yo. So I'm going with James Madison to win that. I think that game is tomorrow. Yeah, that game is tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. And I also got Vermont over Duke. Duke, man, backing into the tournament. I don't believe that. Like, I don't believe in Duke. You know, with Kyle Singler and stuff as a coach. I don't believe in that. They really missing Coach K. NC State won the ACC tournament, so I see them coming through, but they're not going to make it out the weekend. Kentucky got that, but you know, Vermont, I got them going all the way to the Elite Eight, all the way to the Elite Eight, and they're eventually going to lose to Kentucky. Um, but like my East bracket was pretty tight, man. Like you see the 1-4 matchup, the 3-6, the 7-2. I guess Washington State upset over Iowa State, but like I don't know, man. You know, UAB I had an upset. Now, San Diego State, I believe they were in like the Final Four. If not, it was last year, the year before that, or something. But like, would you have a team from San Diego that's coming through to play at 1:45 in the afternoon? Like that's their match. Like this is not a good bracket for them. You know what I'm saying? That is 10:45 Eastern, Western, Pacific Standard Time. It's not good, yo. So yeah, man. I got Kentucky coming through, and I got Illinois coming through. Then in my West bracket, North Carolina, go ahead and head up on your head like a helicopter. Yo, that's my squad, man. Out the ACC. RJ Davis, baby. Let's go. He's going to be tournament MVP. That's my man. I can't go against North Carolina. People are saying Mississippi State might upset them in the next round of 32, but I'm not with you on that. Sorry, y'all. Um, but yeah, I think this bracket's going to be pretty standard as well. I had one slight upset, Nevada over Dayton. Um, but other than that, like you're seeing a 1-5 matchup, St. Mary's over Alabama, but like a 1-5 and a 3-2. I have North Carolina coming out over Arizona. See a lot of people picking Arizona to go to the Final Four. Um, nah, I got them losing in the Sweet 16. Um, or is it the Elite Eight, whatever, to North Carolina. And then in the Midwest, Purdue, shout out to Zach Edey, Canadian. You know what I'm saying? Number one overall seed in the Midwest. I feel like that's a really good bracket for them to be in the Midwest because that's the same time zone. Because I think Purdue is in Indiana. Shout out to Grambling as well, who played their way into the tournament. You know what I mean? That is a historically black college, HBCU. So, but they're going down to Purdue. They're going down to Purdue, man. Sorry, yo. TCU over Utah State, not a real upset. We got Gonzaga and Kansas coming through. I got Oregon over South Carolina, which is kind of an upset. Creighton's coming through, Texas and Tennessee. But really and truly, I got Texas coming out of this bracket. You know, Kansas will upset Purdue in the Sweet 16, but in the Elite Eight, I got Texas coming through on Kansas. Texas was one of the teams at the beginning of the season that was highly ranked, and they kind of fell off there as the season progressed. But yo, I got North Carolina, Texas in the national championship game. I think Texas will take out Kentucky. Kentucky's always like a weird pick because they usually have a lot of freshmen that play for them, and I believe the same thing this year with John Calipari as the head guy over there. But like they haven't really done much recently. I've been hearing conversations about whether they should get rid of Calipari and stuff and rebuild the program where you have more guys staying after just their freshman year, where it's not just a one and done. But like, yeah, I think they hear that too, man. So yeah, I got Kentucky unfortunately losing in the final four to Texas and North Carolina. So that's my bracket on ESPN. Comment down below, like tell me who you got making it through to the final four and who you think is gonna be the national champion, yo. I know my man D Money got UConn. Bun them. They won last year. They won last year, so if they were to win, it would be the first back-to-back champion since University of Florida did it, and I believe that was the team that had Joakim Noah and Al Horford. I think Mike Miller might have even been on that squad. Like, yo, can't let that happen, yo. Can't let that happen. North Carolina gonna come through. We gonna smack up your boys D Money. You heard that. So yeah, man, that's what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna finish recording. Long episode. Talked a lot about didn't talk a lot about the Raptors, but hell, I talked a lot about LeBron and these guys, yo. And the whole we done with the 90s and whatever, man. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about all that, yo. But that is it for today. So, if you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And if you're not subbed up, please sub up. It helps the algorithm, man. Let's get this out. Let's get this out, man. Part of it's my fault because I've been slacking. But yo, the Raptors have been slacking too, bro. They've been lacking. So like, bro, what I'm supposed to talk about, yo? I don't want to talk about Raptors losing all the time, bro. But anyways, as you can see, we are expanding our content. NCAA. I think I'm gonna keep showing how my bracket is doing too as we continue to go. So yeah, yo, that's what it is. And yeah, come on. Tell me what you think about the whole GOAT conversation. At some point, I need to have my boys on here so we can have a more extensive conversation about the GOAT conversation. I pretty much think, man, I need to get some young boys on here too, man. We need some James guys, pro LeBron James guys to come and talk with some pro Jordan guys and have a healthy debate because I'm pretty objective, yo. I'm pretty objective. I'm a Jordan guy, you know. I'm a Jordan guy. Um, I appreciate what Kobe did while he was here. And to keep it a beat with y'all, Kobe was my favorite player up until the point where the Phoenix series, dog. And I'm like, man, the ego is just crazy. Respectfully, rest in peace, man. But I'm like, how you just give up on a team like that for a 3-1 lead? I know everybody's saying, yo, pass the ball. But it really like broke my heart as a fan. And then LeBron James, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna roll with LeBron. And then really and truly, like, guy, I'm not even just like a player guy, you know. I like my team, but like the Raptors, yo, they took the Sonics away from me. They took the Sonics away from me, and then the Raptors, they just took away Vince Carter, and then there's like this love affair with Vince Carter, who was my favorite player, but like we weren't good for the longest. So once the Raptors became good again, I wasn't even thinking about who my favorite player in the league is. Right now, it's probably Anthony Edwards, yo. That's probably my favorite player right now. Love watching me some Ant Man, yo. Pause. But anyways, yeah. Yo, we done, man. Peace. Oh, wait, hold up. You know the flex, and it's me, guy.